I have lost my soul. That's what a woman wrote to me not too long ago. And I had to pause for a moment because those words carry so much pain. The feeling of being a stranger to yourself, the feeling of having lost yourself somewhere along the way. And at the same time, and this is exactly why I'm making this video today, that's simply not possible. You cannot lose your soul, and I'm going to explain why. But let's start at the very beginning, because I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding that throws a lot of things off balance. Most people say, I have a soul, the same way you'd say, I have a car, I have a house, as if the soul is something you own, something external, something you can lose. But it's actually the other way around. You don't have a soul, you are a soul, and you have a body. When we're here in physical form, we tend to completely identify with our body and our mind. That's understandable. They're constantly present, constantly loud, constantly commenting on everything. But the body and the mind are just instruments. They're not you. Think about a car. It has an engine, electronics, GPS sensors, all very sophisticated, all very well designed. But, and that is the key point, the car can't decide where it's going on its own. It needs a driver. It needs a consciousness that steers, assesses, and responds intuitively. Sure, self-driving cars exist now, but look at how they actually perform. My own car, for example, constantly warns me about construction zones that aren't even there. It has become a family joke. Or it comes to a sudden full stop while I'm parking, even though there's absolutely nothing in the way. Why? Because computers think in zeros and ones. Everything is either 0 or 1, danger or no danger, obstacle or no obstacle. And interestingly, our mind works in a very similar way. It has to put all information into boxes, good or bad, right or wrong, safe or dangerous. That's the only way it can process things. And on top of that, every single piece of information is emotionally colored, filtered through our experiences, old wounds, and beliefs we picked up somewhere along the way. Which means your mind can never make a truly objective decision. Not because it's broken, but because that's just how it's built. Now, here's where it's really getting interesting. Has this ever happened to you? You have some thought running through your head, maybe something you don't even want to be thinking about. And suddenly you catch yourself watching yourself think it. You're observing your own mind from somewhere above it. So there's the thought, and then there's the awareness that's watching the thought. Two things happening at the same time. So which one are you in that moment? The thought or the one who's watching? Vera F. Birkenbiel once put it beautifully, from brain owner to brain user. Once you realize that your thoughts don't come from your deepest inner truth, but from a brain that's biased, that categorizes everything, that can never be fully objective, your whole relationship to your own thinking shifts. You don't get swept away as easily. You can observe instead of just react. And now we're getting to something I find absolutely fascinating, and that science is increasingly backing up. We don't actually have one brain, we have three. The first is the head brain, our mind, the one that analyzes, plans, and categorizes. The second is the gut brain, our intuition, our gut feeling. And this isn't just a metaphor. The vagus nerve connects the brain and the gut directly. And a huge amount of information travels upward, not the other way around. The gut plays a major role in triggering decisions. And then there's the heart brain. The heart has 40,000 neuronal cells, actual brain cells. And it sends 4 times more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. 4 times more. Studies have been done where people were asked to make decisions and the measurements at the heart showed something remarkable. The heart had already made a decision before the head had even finished thinking. The heart isn't just a romantic symbol, it's a higher authority, one that's connected to what we call the higher self. So we are far less head-driven than we think when we actually trust our intuition. But then comes the obvious question. Why do so many people feel like they've lost access to themselves? Why does it feel like the connection has been cut? There are several reasons for this. A big one is we've lost trust in ourselves. Through experiences, through criticism, through the feeling that our inner voice once led us in the wrong direction. And on an energetic level, our chakra system plays a crucial role. When our chakras are blocked, stand still, energy can no longer flow freely. The fifth chakra, the throat chakra, is especially important here. It's the bridge between the head and the heart. When this chakra is blocked, we literally can't access the heart anymore. The connection is like frozen solid. The same goes for the gut. The third chakra, the solar plexus chakra above your navel, is our center of trust, personal power, and access to intuition. When it's blocked, we lose touch with our gut feeling. So it's not that the connection is gone, it's just being blocked right now. Like a radio that's tuned to the wrong station, the signal is still there. And that brings us back to the woman who wrote to me. You cannot lose your soul because you are the soul. That awareness sitting behind your thoughts, watching them, that's part of your soul and it's always there. What you can lose or what feels lost, it's the conscious, felt connection to the larger part of your soul. Because here's something most people don't know. Only about 5 or even less % of our soul is actually embodied in any given incarnation. The vast majority of who we are exists outside of this physical reality. And we're still connected to that part, even when we can't feel it. This also means our real task here isn't to strive upward as fast as possible to somehow become more spiritual, elevated, as so many teaching would have us to believe. It's to bring as much of our soul as possible into this incarnation. I love the image of a tree for this. A tree can only grow as tall as its roots reach deep into the earth. If the roots are shallow, the trees fall over. But the deeper it's anchored, the more it can unfold, the more stable it stands, the more fruit it bears. It's exactly the same with us. The more of our soul is truly here, grounded, present, embodied, the more we can grow from the inside out. Let me quickly pull together what we covered today. You cannot lose your soul because you are the soul. Body and mind are your tools, not your identity. Your mind is an instrument, not the director. It can't make objective decisions because it's always coloring and categorizing everything. You have 3 brains, and the heart and the gut are often wiser and faster than the head. When your chakras are blocked, especially the throat and the solar plexus chakra, you lose access to your intuition and to your heart. And that feeling of having lost yourself, it's a signal. It's an invitation to go deeper, to root down more, to bring more of yourself into your life. If you're in a place right now where you can't feel yourself anymore, that's not a disaster. It's a beginning. Because that feeling means something in you knows that there is more, that there's a deeper layer of you reaching back out, making itself known, wanting to be heard. You haven't lost yourself, you are finding yourself. And that is one of the most courageous things a human being can go through. And of course, you do not have to walk this path alone. If you're struggling, send me a message and we work out how I can best support you. And if you have a question or a thought, leave a comment below. I read everything and I generally love hearing from you. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself.